What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Veteran to Veteran. Like I said, this is a present to my father that I said I would continue to do because, well, y'all know the story. I'm not going to go into it. But, so tonight with me, I have Joe Compton, who is a current soldier, and he is in the United States Army Reserves or National Guard?
Reserves.
Okay. So, what we're going to do is, and now everybody can hear me, because I remember the last time nobody could hear me, but thanks to OK Fabe, I've got a microphone that actually everybody can hear me. And there's Wendy saying hi to everybody. She just, has to be in every damn thing. So, and Walter is behind me, which Joe gave me, Walter, like 2 years ago. You sent that?
Two and a half is right before I took off these, which was 19.
Okay. So, what we're going to do is, I'm going to talk to Joe. We're going to shoot the stuff, or shoot the shit. I'm going to ask him some questions, and then we're just going to, I don't know, we'll see where it leads us. We're going to try to do this in about an hour. If it goes over, it goes over. I didn't have any sweet tarts this time, so we're good. But I do have a beverage, which I'm not going to have too many. I'm just going to probably have the one. But so first question, Joe. Like I said, you serve currently in the United States Army Reserves. But how long have you been in the military? And were you in any other branch of service prior to that, and how long?
I started off in the Marine Corps, where straight out of high school, graduated high school in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And June 3rd of 2000 when I got my diploma.
Okay.
June is when I was at the Yellow Footprints at MCRD, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, California.
Which is where my dad actually did his basic. I call it basic training because I'm a former soldier, so, or Army, so we call it basic training. So yeah, that's where my dad went. I don't know what unit he belonged to because I never really paid attention to that. But so continue.
Where I did 8 years active duty in the Marine Corps. My first enlistment, I was stationed at Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. Then my second enlistment, I was at Camp Pendleton, California.
Okay.
I just couldn't get away from the West Coast.
Okay. So my dad has kind of explained to me how he got. Are you done? You need to be quiet. He explained to me how he got his MOS. You guys in the Marine Corps, you don't particularly get to pick what. I mean, I don't know how it is now. But back then, he didn't get to pick his MOS. They told him what he was going to be. How does that work?
I did get to pick my MOS.
Okay.
Which my first enlistment, I wanted to be motor transport or motor T.
Which in the Army is an 88 Mike.
Yes, I couldn't tell you what it was back then in the Marine Corps. Okay. That's been 20-something years ago. But I signed up for it, got the MOS, and when I went to the MOS school, they had the old 5 tons that were stick shift.
Uh-huh.
I had no clue how to drive a stick prior to this. So a hell of a way to learn how to drive a stick shift is in one of these big bastards.
Right.
So, due to me not knowing how to drive a stick, I just couldn't grasp it in these trucks. I failed that MOS school. So, they sent me to postal clerk school at Fort Lee, Virginia.
Okay.
Which, when I went there, all motivation was shot.
I hear ya.
I didn't give a damn because that's not the job I wanted.
Right.
So pretty much intentionally bombed that school.
Okay.
Didn't give a damn anything. I was just the biggest shitbag on there was.
Right.
So the first sergeant of that school pulled me in his office, and he told me that they could administratively separate me from the Marine Corps for failure to comply to Marine Corps standards, or I got one last choice, which was be a cook. Because, they sent damn near any and everybody to be a cook.
Right.
So it took me a little while to think about that one, because I knew I had the way out, but then I realized, would I be able to look at myself in the mirror the same if I took the easy way out?
Right.
And not to mention, would my family hold me in that same regard if I took that easy way out?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I can't do it. It's not in me. I've been raised never to quit. It's only going to be 3 years of my life. So I told the first sergeant, I was like, you know what? Send me to cook school. I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Fort Lee, Virginia for cook school.
Yep. I've been there.
So I graduated from cook school, and that's when I went to Hawaii.
Hmm.
Not my first choice of duty stations, because I wanted to stay at least East Coast, with me being an Indiana boy. This way, on the holiday weekends, I'd be able to drive home.
Right.
So that was my ideal plan. And as you know, in the military, things don't always go to plan.
No.
So got the West Coast. And they, even beyond West Coast, they stuck me up in the middle of the damn Pacific. So, didn't go home those 3 years. Got out in 04.
Okay.
June of 04. Got out of the Marine Corps. Thought it was a one and done thing. So, my mom and my dad kept pushing me. Joe, you got to go in. Joe, the military was the best thing for you.
So my next question to you is why did you join in the first place? What was your reason for joining?
I really had nothing planned straight out of high school. I didn't take any of that ACTs, SATs, didn't do college visits.
Right.
I was just pretty much on the couch.
So I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, it's exactly what I did. I had no direction in my life, and my mom gave me an ultimatum. She said, you can either find a job or join the military. And I'm like, well, there ain't no fucking jobs here, so guess what I'm doing, Mom? It's not her first choice wanting me to do it, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's the best decision I ever made because I had no discipline. I had no direction. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do with my life. And even though I got administratively separated my first time for the shittiest of fucking reasons, I still debate, but I'm not going to go into that. That I felt. But again, you can't argue why they did it because it was, wasn't great. I wasn't a great soldier. I was one of those, wasn't a troublemaker, but I did not like the unit that I was with because I was a 52 Delta, which is a power generator repair. So I worked in the motor pool, and my motor sergeant did not like me, and every day was like a hell with me. It's like I was in basic training all over again with this guy. Never gave me an opportunity to develop or anything like that. So I quit caring, just a lot like you did. I actually enjoyed being a power generator repair because I kind of like doing all of the, electrical stuff and engineering kinds of things. But I didn't like my motor sergeant, so I ended up going to Haiti and I got my toolbox stolen, and that was the last straw. They wanted to kick me out of the Army for, again, not adhering to Army regulations and policies and whatever a chapter. I can't even remember what the chapter was, but they gave me a less than honorable, or a general discharge, not a less than honorable. They gave me a general discharge, and That's the story of my life. And then I honestly came back in trying to think, 1998. I joined back up the Army Reserves in the town that I came from. Did that for 3 years. I got and y'all know the story, I got my honorable discharge on September 11th of 2001, that day. And then I went back in a year later, and I just served up until then. Worked as a GS. I'm a GS employee. I work for the federal government. I take care of soldiers and their families today, and that's kind of where I am. But back to you. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I got out June of 04, tried various jobs, could not hold a job to save my life. Worth nothing. I was always quitting, or my attendance was piss poor. Just straight up immature.
Yeah.
No two ways about it.
Yeah.
So, once again, I had my mom and my dad in my ear. Joe, go back in. Joe, go back in. So, December of the following year, 05, I went back into the Marine Corps as a 0313, which is a light armored vehicle crewman.
Okay.
So I got to play around with what the Army calls strikers.
Okay.
So I did that for 4 years. Got into a little bit of trouble that enlistment too. Got demoted from corporal to lance corporal, and ended up getting out of the Marine Corps as an 8-year lance corporal.
Okay.
After 8 years, in order to re-enlist, you have to be a sergeant or higher.
Okay.
So I was not able to re-enlist.
Okay.
Still the honorable discharge, still did my contract, but the Marine Corps was done.
Right.
And at that point, I realized I'm right there on the cusp of being halfway done. So I might as well stick with it at this point. Yeah, there's going to be bullshit with however I continue my military career, but it's going to happen in any branch.
Right.
So I went to the Army recruiter, got out of the Corps December, and by March, I was swearing into the Army Reserves as, back then it was a 21 Echo, which is now a 12 November.
Which is vertical construction, if I'm correct. That's what I mean. I was a 21 Bravo, which became a 12 Bravo, which again became a 21 Bravo, which is now a 12 Bravo again. I changed it like 13 times. So, and then there's a 12 Alpha. Well, the 12 Alphas, those are the officers. The 12 November.
November is the horizontal.
The horizontal. There's the vertical. The vertical is, I can't remember what the vertical is. I think it's 52 something. I can't remember. But so I hear you. I was a 52 Delta, and then I was a 92 Yankee supply specialist. I was a combat engineer. I retired as a combat engineer. I was also a 98 Kilo as a non-Morse code interceptor analyst. The 12 Bravo, all I did was, I mean, I would show up. You'd have to be an alcoholic to be a 12 Bravo. I mean, you'd have to be. So, if you know what a 12 Bravo is, it's essentially a glorified 11 Bravo. We just get to play with explosives. That's it.
Yeah.
It's infantry, glorified, where we go and blow up obstacles. We go and find the mines. That's what we did. One of the soldiers in 2010, 2011 was a good friend of mine. 2 weeks before they were leaving from Afghanistan, I did not get to go with them because I ended up being the rear detachment commander. He ended up losing both of his legs to a mine. Ooh. So and I've told this story before with my dad, I think on the other one. And so it's a dangerous job, man. The life expectancy, we didn't lose anybody. In 2010 and 2007, we did. So I've been pretty lucky to have not had to go to too many funerals with soldiers that we have lost in our unit per se, but I have known people that have died doing the route clearance. And if the route clearance that they were doing in 2007 is nothing like they were doing in 2010 and 2011. So, yeah. So, go ahead, Joe.
All right, yeah. So, joined as a 21 Echo, went to 12 November. And that is where I currently am.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I've done one tour overseas as of 12 November.
Okay.
When I originally joined the Army Reserves, that unit, my unit I was with, was already in Iraq.
Okay.
So I was in the rear detachment.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lieutenant show up, and this guy was an absolute savior to me, mentor. Right. He went out of his way. My very first ACU uniform, he paid for it out of his own pocket.
Really?
Just so I wouldn't have to show up in civilians anymore. Oh. I'm talking PC, everything, down to the boots.
And I'm going to tell you what, them things aren't cheap. I think it's the whole uniform with the boots and the socks and the shirt and the top and the bottom and the cap. Like $100 or close to it. The boots themselves, depending on what you get, are $100 themselves. But if you get the issue, I think they're like, well, that price has probably gone up by now. But when I got issued them, I think they were like $60, and then the uniform, the top and the bottom, were more expensive than the boots.
We went straight to the PX right after drill one day. He's like, "All right, get the sizes you need. I'm buying them. Don't worry about it."
So, and it does, and supply chain is so slow in the Army. It is very slow. You probably had your stuff on order, correct? Yes or no?
Yeah, it was on order, but this way I have a uniform.
And you're probably one of those people that have the perfect size, and everybody has the same size as you do, so they're on back order, and they're on back order for like a year and a half.
Medium regular or medium long.
There you go. Yep, there you go. I was lucky. I was really thin when I was in the military. I think when I got out, I was 6'1" and 158, 159 pounds. Since I've gotten out, and Heather's a good cook, I now weigh 6'1", 206 pounds. I'm a fat ass. I don't fucking work out. I don't do shit except sit there, bitch, piss, and moan that my body fucking hurts when I should get up and fucking go for a walk, but I don't. But so I wore small longs. That's how thin my waist was. So I could get away with doing that. My feet, I think I could get away with the size 10. But it didn't do so well with long ruck marches because they get the fucking blisters on the back of the feet. Joe, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
The cap, I have a relatively small head, so I wore a size 6, 7/8, 7 hat.
7 and
the shirt, I think I've worn medium long. I still have some uniforms here. Because you can keep them. Once you're issued them, you don't have to turn them in. Now the ones that we had, the flame retardant ones, we're supposed to turn those in. Whatever. I know what you mean, because my stuff was on back order because I did the same thing. I had the medium regular, medium long, and it's like, well, it's going to be on back order. Well, Jesus Christ. You'd think everybody wears the same size. You wouldn't think about making more?
Yeah, exactly. So it was on back order, so I wore the uniform he bought. Granted, all I had until my name tapes and the Army patch showed up was just a unit patch. That was it. That and well, my PFC rank because I came into the Army as a PFC. I
Now,
kept my rank.
now explain your rank in the Marines. You were a Lance Corporal, which is an E3. So essentially, you came back in as an E3, which they can't say. Well, your promotions are a lot quicker. In the Army, because as long as you're passing your APFT, well, now it's the ACFT, Army Combat Fitness Test, as compared to where in the Marines you have to. It's way different.
Oh, it's way different. In the Marine Corps, I know I'm gonna get these two up because it's been so damn long.
Right.
But got what is called a cutting score.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get these right. And what goes into that is your pros and cons, which is pretty much like our NCOERs.
Mm-hmm.
And you get them through every rank.
Mm-hmm.
And your swim qual, as long as they can say, yep, you pass swim qual, that'll go into it.
Yeah.
Your rifle range, your PFT, and they got this whole magic formula that comes up to a number.
Yep, and in the Army, I mean, they don't do that for the advancements. They're called promotions. The lower enlisted, E1 through E4, they're called advancements. Once you go from E4 to E5, those are called promotions because now you're putting in, it's a fancy term. They're all promotions because once you go up a grade, you're getting paid more, so it's essentially a promotion. Once you hit E4, they're now training you to become a squad leader or a team leader. Well, a team leader. And they're called specialists. Or some very, very select few get called corporals, especially if they're put in a leadership position, which Joe is. You have to be in a leadership position, or the commander has to say, well, I want to put this soldier in a leadership position because this, that, and the other thing. We can laterally advance him from specialist to corporal, or laterally promote from specialist to corporal. That's the way it was when I was in, and that was 5 years ago.
Now there's a regulation out that as long as you graduate BLC,
yes,
leader course as an E4, you're automatically going to be corporal.
Right. So BLC, for everybody that doesn't understand, it's called basic leadership course, and that teaches you how to be an E5, which is a buck sergeant. Advanced leader course is your what used to be called BNOC. That teaches you how to become a squad leader, and then you have SLC, which is senior leaders course, which teaches you how to become a platoon sergeant or an E7. And then they have master leader course, which is for E8s, and then they have sergeant major's course to become an E9. But am I wrong? I'm right.
You're right.
So, because I used to have to, do all this stuff when I worked for the unit that I worked with. We had to do all of these numbers, and the only way you can get advanced just as long as you meet the qualifications for time in service, time in grade. You pass your Army Combat Physical Fitness Test. You also pass your green across the board as far as medical goes. What else is there? I'm trying to think.
Rifle range.
You got to qualify on everything that you're supposed to qualify on in order to get advanced, or you're supposed to. I've seen it where commanders will advance somebody just to advance somebody to shut them the fuck up. I've seen that. Even though I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not. You want to have your platoon sergeant do that shit. I'm not touching it because I'm not getting yelled at for it. I'm not even going to process it. You can come at me. You can talk to the battalion commander as to why that paperwork hasn't gone through. So that's neither nor. I've had to deal with all that garbage. So I next question for you. So you joined in the reserves in
10.
2010? Mm-hmm. I had been in about 8 years in my time in the reserves, and we then got deployed to, well, the unit itself got deployed to Afghanistan. They did route clearance. Came back 2011, yeah. You're still serving with the same unit, or did you transfer? You move? Okay, so you've been with the same unit since 2010. That's 11. I did the same thing. I was with the same unit from 1997 to 2016, so 19 years.
Oh, let me back up a second.
Okay.
I'm the same unit I was with before I deployed.
Okay.
When I went overseas, I transferred to a unit that was up by Toledo, which is a good 4.5 hours from where I live.
Okay. Okay.
So deployed with them, came home. Then about 6 months, by the time I get home, we're already in this damn pandemic. We're already in this pandemic.
I hear you.
So, I was doing virtual drills for like 3-4 months where just my camera was not on, didn't have to shave, didn't worry about that at all. Had a nice, beautiful beard.
Right.
Loved it. And heard I was getting transferred back to the unit I was with prior to my deployment.
Right.
So got rid of the beard, went up the road, which is only probably about 20 minutes away.
Okay.
So luckily I'm with a unit now that's that close.
Okay.
So if I take care of anything, granted, working second shift on the civilian side, I got to wake my ass up early, but I still have the chance to take care of anything I have to take care of.
Right. I mean, yeah. So I pretty much served with the same unit for 19 years. But here's the thing. With me, I enjoyed serving with the guys that I was with. Now, what I will say is that once you become a leader, in my eyes, you should actually transfer to a different unit. The only reason being is you're hanging out with these guys. It's really hard to, like, all of a sudden you're hanging out with these guys at the bar after drill is done, especially if it's a home station battle assembly. And you're hanging out with these guys, just getting shit-faced drunk. And then the next thing you know, you're their leader, and you can't be doing that. I mean, you can, but you don't want to show up completely smashed out of your mind. Unless it's a Christmas party or the dining in, as we so like to call it. You know, it's really hard to separate being a leader. And I think that if you transfer out, it's better for you, because then people aren't just going to like look at you and like, oh yeah, he's just joking because he was out with us last night. Once I became a leader, I quit going out with the guys. I mean, I go out, have a couple, and then come home. I wouldn't hang out with, I just couldn't do it because I didn't want people to get the wrong impression of me.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that's just my philosophy. I would prefer it if you transfer out of the unit that you were assigned to, that you've been with. I could have very easily gone down to Dubuque or whatever, but they didn't have a position for me, and I would have had to transfer to another unit. I could have, but I didn't feel like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to fucking battle assembly. You know what I mean? So, I'm not a morning person.
Oh, I'm not either.
I hate getting up in the mornings. That's one thing about being in the Army. Man, there are times where you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you get to lay down at midnight. Yep. If that. And then you're up at 3 o'clock, and then they expect you to fucking pull duty for 18 fucking hours. It's very, very, very stressful. And
especially in the mobilization process when you're getting ready to go.
Yeah, you're always doing something, and you get wore down, you get run down. You don't want to, you just don't want to do anything anymore. It's very tasking. It's not fun.
And
Taxing. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very taxing on your body. I don't care how great a shape you are in. Not getting enough sleep is not good for you, and that's the only problem that I had with the military is they never really allowed you the luxury of getting a nice relaxing, unless you were at home station. But if you were out doing a mission, and I understand the mission is very important, but you're out doing a mission, sleep is important because you don't want somebody to drive for 18 hours straight. Now, keep in mind, you're not listening to a radio. You're not sitting there talking. You're actually trying to pay attention to what's going on, and you're going like 3 miles an hour down a road. That was route clearance. Sucked.
oh, even here stateside doing annual training. I have convoyed from Ohio up to around your neck of the woods, Camp Ripley.
Oh, that's in Minnesota. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Still not that far away from you.
It's about 4 hours for me.
So
Where's Camp Ripley?
I've convoyed from Ohio to Ripley.
Where's Ripley? Where is Ripley at?
Minnesota somewhere.
I want to. Isn't that like up by the? That might even be like 5-6 hours away from me. I'm by Fort McCoy.
Yeah, I've been there plenty.
Yep.
Convoyed to McCoy. That's actually where I did my basic leaders course, was at Fort McCoy.
Yep. They have a
NCO Academy.
Yep. That's where I did mine.
We was the first face-to-face class back from the pandemic.
Yeah.
So they had us on complete lockdown. We couldn't even go to McCoy.
Oh, even for us, we got a little bit of downtime, but we only got like a couple hours. We had to be back in. I can understand them putting people with the pandemic. We were completely on lockdown, pretty much. I mean, we could do things for like the first week. We couldn't do shit because it was. But the following week, they kind of let us like a couple hours. Go get something to eat, come back. Go get something to eat, come back. Whatever.
We couldn't even wear civilian attire in the off hours. We had to wear PTs.
Yeah, so do we.
And here you're seeing that quartermaster school there at the NCOA wearing civilian attire. You're like, damn it.
They're teasing you. They're teasing you. So you've been deployed. Where have you been deployed to?
Kuwait.
You went to Kuwait. Tell me, what's that like?
I was able to catch what it's like pre-pandemic because I was there in 19.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to experience the rowdy bingo. I got to experience the karaoke. They have a place where you can get your suit done, which I've got one.
Right.
Custom suit.
So you had the cake job.
Yep, I went ahead and got one. This is my one and only chance to do it. I'm probably never coming back.
Right.
So I was like, hell with it.
Right. And if any of you guys have any questions for Joe or I in the chat, please don't be afraid to ask any questions. Don't be afraid to ask. So is that your only deployment, was Kuwait?
Yes.
Okay.
And while I was there, I was pinging back and forth between Buring, Ali Salim, and Arifjan.
Okay.
They kept me going between all three of them.
And those are cities, correct?
Those are bases.
Okay. You kind of need to explain that because people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you talking about people? You're good.
Camp Buring and Camp Arifjan are army bases.
Okay.
And Ali Salim is a Air Force base.
Okay.
So most of the time I was on the Air Force base or Ali Salim. That's where I spent a majority of my tour.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. What did you do while you were on that? No, you transferring supplies, or what were you doing?
We had a few little miscellaneous
Okay, you don't
work.
have to. Now, keep in mind, I don't want this to become an OPSEC thing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. You don't have
Yeah.
to tell me. I'm just asking. Just
Generics, we had a few miscellaneous oddball horizontal things we had to take care of. Since I am a horizontal construction,
okay. And that horizontal construction, that essentially means you are building roads.
yes,
Okay.
we
Vertical
had
means buildings.
we had a couple of dump missions we had to do where we had to use the dump trucks quite frequently,
Okay.
and we had a couple of them where it was just grading stuff out, smoothing things out,
Okay.
making it look all nice and Hollywood pretty.
Okay. Okay.
And that was what I did a majority of my time overseas.
Sounds good. Hey, not everybody in the military gets to see battle or combat, and that's good.
Very good.
It's a good thing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, combat is not pretty. It's not. It's not pretty. And when you get I'm doing recordings with my dad. He told some pretty bad stories that'd make you think as to why you want to be an 11 Bravo or a 12 Bravo or just a soldier in general. Just saying.
The last story he told was fucking.
What's up, Cody? How's it going? Thanks for being here. So what was, and the reason I'm asking these questions is because I know the answer, but I'm talking about your experience. What was your best experience in the military? Hands down, what is the greatest experience you've ever had?
Hands down, it would be my deployment because
Okay.
I deployed with an outstanding group of guys.
Okay.
We all were tight knit. We had each other's backs. It made the time fly by like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'd always be bullshitting. There was never a dull moment.
Right.
Even once the pandemic hit and stuff was shut down.
Right.
Instead, we came up with our own entertainment. One of my roommates had a projector. Then one of the other guys had the Jackbox party packs on his computer.
Okay.
Every Friday night would be the Jackbox party night.
Okay.
We would all just hang out in my room because my room was best suited for it the way we had it laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd just play the Jackbox party pack on our phones and shoot the shit, laugh, and have fun.
Right. That. What is? Now you probably explained your worst experience, but what's the worst thing that you experienced worst experience you had while being in the military?
The worst would probably be my demotion in the Marine Corps, but that was also on me because I was a corporal and I was told to work a weekend that I was scheduled to have off. I didn't realize the power that I had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hindsight being 2020,
I
what
love
I
that term.
should is go up to a lance corporal or private first class E2 and tell them, hey, dog, I'm sorry to do this to you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to work this weekend. I will talk to the higher ups. We will make it up to you.
And that is one of the hardest things to do. We've had to revoke a pass because we needed bodies, and it sucks. It sucks to have to do that, but the needs of the Army comes before all else. Unless, and I will give them the Army. For me, I will give the Army credit where credit is due. If it comes to family, they will, if somebody gets sick, they won't pull you away from, at least in my experience, they've never pulled me away. Like I had my grandfather said, no, you can't go because it wasn't, immediate family. That I've never been turned down for a leave or a pass. I've been lucky, but I have seen where I have had to do it, or I have seen it happen to people, and it sucks. It's one of the thankless jobs of being in the Army. It really is. Being in the military is a very thankless job. When people do thank you, and I appreciate the thanks, and I think I've said this before, but it's hard to explain. Sometimes it just seems like everybody's ingenuine about it because they feel like they have to say it, because you don't have to say anything. Because you can come up to me and I'll be honest with you. You can thank me for my service, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it for anybody but my family and me, to be honest with you. I honestly did not join the military. I joined the military for myself. I didn't join the military for Joe Blow down the street. Because only recently have I seen, and this has been going on since 2001, where you go into a bar and you see, you normally see soldiers. You can tell when their soldier comes into a bar or whatever. And they sit down and it's like, I want to buy that guy a drink because he's in the military. Well, sometimes that's not the smartest thing to do. It's also not a bad thing. I do appreciate the gesture. I don't not appreciate it. However, it's always just sometimes seems ingenuine. It's like, oh, I feel sorry for you kind of thing. It's like, I don't hate it, but just don't dwell on it. And I see a lot of people dwelling on the thank yous, and it's like, no, I get it. You're welcome. I appreciate you saying that. Now, fuck away from me. Sorry, that's just the way I am. But that's the way I am in general.
The one I can't stand is when I'm out to dinner with family or friends, then you get the people coming up wanting to talk about the military. When you're there with some of your family or friends, they're standing right there at the edge of your table wanting to talk to you.
Right.
Dude, you're welcome. Now, can you please get away from my table so I can have lunch with these people?
Right. I don't have much time, motherfucker. I'm on my break. But, so Alpha had a question, and I'm still trying to decipher it. How do they determine whether they need you for battle or combat or whatnot?
How do they decide who goes to battle or who does the grunt work?
It's okay. The grunt work, like the grunt work that I did.
Yes.
E4 and below.
Who stays behind? How do they determine who stays behind or who goes?
It's mission. Whatever the mission dictates. That's all I can tell you. If the mission dictates that Joe and we need somebody to build a road and I got to protect him, Joe's going to go to try to build that road, and I'm going to go to protect him because that's my job as a combat engineer. If he needs something as far as, hey, we got to clear this obstacle, my job is to clear that obstacle so he can build that road. It's whatever it's the need, whatever the mission dictates. And I say that all the time. You can say, well, there's a firefight. Okay. Everybody in the military except for, well, medics even carry weapons. But you can also be a medic and not carry a weapon. I can't remember what that's called. But, what is that called, Joe? When they have to sign a form. It's,
conscientious objector.
There you go, conscientious objector. You can, there's a chaplain's assistant. You have to carry a weapon because a chaplain can't carry a weapon. I have seen chaplains carry weapons. I did have one chaplain. We were standing in formation when I was on active duty, and he we're all standing in formation. It's down in Fort Polk, Louisiana. It's JRTC, and I'm standing next to a major who's a chaplain, and he stands there and he goes, "Why in the fuck are we standing out in the fucking rain?" Those were his like literal words. Like, why in the fuck are we? I'm like, did the chaplain just say the F word? He looked at me and he goes, "I'm a human being, you dumbass." Well, I mean, you're taken aback by a chaplain saying the F word, you know. So, needless to say, you know, I mean, like I said, mission dictates when it comes to stuff like that. Not everybody, but what my point is, we are all trained in basic training and combat. Not combat, but we're all trained as 11 Bravos. We don't get the intense training that the 11 Bravos get, but we're trained on the basic duties or the basic words escape me sometimes.
The basic combat.
No, the basic
we're trained on the not the fine details, damn it. We're trained on the basics of how to do an 11 Bravo's job.
Yes.
In that firefight, we are able, well, I am able to.
So am I. I was able.
Get out of the truck. I am able to get on that front line and throw bullets downrange.
Yes, as long as you're authorized to. Now, if you're a driver, sometimes they say stay with the truck. That's why we have what's called a TC, which is a tank commander or a assistant driver. They're the ones that get out of the vehicle. Now, if worst comes to worse and I see my guys out there in a firefight, I'm not going to sit in the fucking vehicle and smoke cigarettes and jerk off and whatever. I'm actually going to get out there and throw bullets downrange. Say it again.
What you're going to do is, if that situation arises, you're going to get out of that truck, put that damn phone down, stop playing on it, and throw rounds downrange.
Right. No, I'm not saying you don't, Aaron. You're missing the point of there are people out there that will stick around and be all up in your shit about, hey, what would, like, I've literally sat in a bar. What's it like to shoot somebody?
I've been asked that
fucking
too.
No. I mean, I can't fucking answer that question. Like, why would I want it? Why are people inclined? I understand why they're inclined to ask that question, because it's a morbid curiosity of people. And I get it, but it's like I asked my dad that, and he looked at me. He's like, "Why are you asking me that question?"
And just to throw this out there to in the chat, the one question you never want to ask a veteran, and for the love of God, if you have, from now on, please don't, is how many people have you killed?
Yeah, don't. That's. I asked my dad that. He's just tells me. He don't care.
But someone like me, if you used to see me in the bar, don't ask.
Yeah, a lot of people don't ask that, but I have seen it. I'm like, that's a pretty awkward question.
I've had people ask me that. I'm like, come on, really? I just blow that question off. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're welcome for my service.
So you're still doing. How many years have you been in then?
This year will be 20.
Now, the next question is: you should be getting promoted. You went to BLC. You're a promotable, correct?
Yes. Only thing I have to do now is the paper promotion board. Thank God I don't have to go in front of a light.
Like they ask you questions. Like they literally ask you questions. Now, I've shown videos, and I could probably videos of remember that the board. It's a Soldier of the Year board, and fucking Sergeant Major comes over, lays down a chair on its side, and the fucking soldier comes in. He does the "I am an American soldier. I am this, that, and the other." He gets through it. The Sergeant Major says, "Okay, have a seat," and he fucking literally tries to sit down in the chair without turning it over and sitting down. So it's funny, and I don't know if that was a setup, but it was funny. And soldiers do stupid shit like that. They do. It is the honest. Half of it is they don't tell you. Okay, now pick up the chair and sit down. He literally said, and if you listen to the sergeant major, he says, "Have a seat." In your mind, you don't want to disobey an order or a command. So I can understand why the soldier did it, but common sense tells you pick up the chair and then sit down at attention. It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me personally, I probably would have been a dumbass and not tried to sit in the chair, but sat on top of the chair. I mean, he probably would have appreciated that more than me trying to sit in the chair that's laying on its side. But, and if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Go just search Soldier of the Year board or Soldier of the Month board or whatever. Funny. And it'll pop up. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't have to do those boards. Thank God the reserves do paper boards.
They do like for our reserve, they do Soldier of the Month and Soldier of the Year. Well, they did. I haven't seen any recently, but they do put them before a board, and they do have to answer the basic soldier questions, like when did they write the national anthem? And they ask you questions like that, like what was the final command on a rear march or whatever. And of course, it's March, but go ahead.
I hate being put on the spot like that.
There's a reason for that, though. And I get it, because I get nervous and I stutter. And I can't, when I get nervous and I stutter, and it's like, I have to think about what I'm going to say. And then when I say it, sometimes what I say comes out wrong. It's one of those things. That's what I do. So you're up for promotion. You got to do a packet. I call it a packet. You have to do a packet where you have to put your ACFT and your weapons qual and your awards. You got to put your awards in there. You get points for your awards, and I don't know what the cutoff is, but I know the cutoff for the Soldier of the Year or to get promoted for a 12 Bravo is like 400 points maybe. So yeah.
Yep, that's all of mine right there, nice and in order from the Marine Corps and Army.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I got one of them right on top of my fridge.
So if you could do over again, we're getting ready to wind down here, and then I'm just going to let Joe go for a good 5 minutes on whatever he wants to talk about. If you could do it all over again, would you join the Marines, or would you rather join the Army, or would you even join at all?
I wouldn't change a damn thing.
You wouldn't change a damn thing? Okay.
For a reason.
What's that reason?
Everything happens for a specific reason. You might not realize it at that particular moment, but everything plays out the way it's supposed to play out.
Well, that's essentially that's my philosophy wholeheartedly. Heather knows that. Things happen for a reason, and, let it fall where they may. 3 years later, got a little asshole running around the house not giving a shit. Telling everybody what to do, and
apparently I wasn't meant to be the Marine for the 20 years.
Yeah.
So the reason I got in trouble, got demoted, ended up here. I'm in the Army now, so apparently that.
Right. So why did you join the Marines and not the Army, I guess is the question.
Army recruiter never came up to me.
Okay.
And when I joined the Marine Corps, one of my high school buddies actually had already joined the delayed entry program.
Okay.
But he was talking to me about it. I'm sitting here, okay, bud. Yeah, kind of blowing him off and never even thinking about it. But it got closer and closer to graduating. I was like, I'm not doing nothing yet. What the hell am I
I've been there. I tried the college thing. I did nothing but party. I got high, did all the fucking stupid shit.
So at that point, that's when the Marine Corps recruiter actually came to me and introduced himself. He's like, "Hey, your buddies told me about you. Why ain't you came in the office?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he came up to me. I was like, "All right, I'll hear this guy out."
Right?
So I went in the office. Next thing you know, here I am, signing my very first contract.
These guys, I'm going to tell you what, these Army recruiters and Marine recruiters, Air Force recruiters, they are really good salesmen. Because they will tell you, now, my Army recruiter told me, you'll go see the world, you'll be able to experience, you'll get to fucking see different places, you'll get to do this, we'll put you through college.
Military recruiting 101.
It is essentially that's what they told me, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about all that. I just have nothing. I'm sick and tired of fucking wasting my life not doing anything. And this is why I joined. I had no discipline. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing with my life. And my mom gave me the option. I was 21 or getting ready to turn 21. I had a daughter, which she is 29 now, right? No, 28. She has 2 kids of her own. I missed the first 3 years of her life, but that's another story. But I wouldn't change anything. The only thing that I would change, if anything, would be that I probably still would have joined the military. But if I would have known that my daughter was coming along, I would have probably joined the reserves instead. So that way I could be there for my daughters. I still would have joined. And then come back. But back to the recruiter, they told me, well, you'll go see the world. You know what country I got to fucking see? Fucking Haiti. If you've ever been to Haiti, imagine it's hot, humid, nasty. Imagine a slum, but the entire country is a slum. Like, there's no running water. Yes, we had running water because we're in the military. We can do that. There's no sewer, no running water. They don't have food. Dude, you would literally see kids running around naked, taking a shit in the middle of the street, peeing on the side of the building, because they don't have running water. It's disheartening, and it's just not the country that I wanted to see. I was hoping to, and I did get to see Germany. I did get to go to Germany just before I retired for I can't even remember what it's called.
Training, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was training. JMRTC, I think it was called. JMRC, excuse me, which is in Hohenfels, Germany, and we did training there, which was so awesome because we got to go to Nuremberg. It's pretty cool there. If you haven't had a chance to go there, please go. If you can get there. If you honestly, if you guys get an opportunity to go to JMRC, go. Because it is one of the most beautiful places you'll ever see. It looks like Ohio. It looks like Wisconsin. It's really no different, but it's a different culture, and you'll see it when you get there. Other than that, my recruiter lied to me. That son of a bitch. But I did learn a lot, and I learned self-discipline. I learned respect my elders, respect. The one thing that I do take away is somebody may have more experience than you, and they may be younger than you. Even if they may not have the life experience that you have, but they know more than you on your job. Respect the rank. You don't have to respect the person, but you have to respect the rank. And that's one thing that I've always thought was an important part of being in the military. Because you are going to see officers that are 22 years old that
Barking
think
at you
they
like a
know
chihuahua.
fucking everything. You go, sir, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full. I think you're full of shit. But, all right, I'm going to show you why you're wrong. Which, then he's like, oh, I guess you were right. Well, no shit, dumbass. Sometimes that happens. But do respect the rank. You don't have to respect the person. Now, I'm going to give Joe, I'm just going to let Joe talk. And I'm going to let Joe talk about anything he wants to talk about as far as, you know, his military service, you know, whatever. You go, you do your thing. You can ask me questions. You can ask anybody. You can ask me questions. You can do whatever. It's your time, my friend. Go ahead.
All right, there was a couple stories I've got. A couple of the good times from the Marine Corps that come to mind. One of them was we was showing off the light armored vehicles. Then we had the amphibious assault vehicles right next to us, which they're pretty much brother sister. And I would be legit at the San Diego County Fairgrounds where this was happening. Shift change was right when the monster truck show was starting. And it was being shown right in front of the monster truck show.
Okay.
So I was all about doing it so I could watch that show for free. So I'd be up there on top of the light armored vehicle. Believe it or not, I was actually signing autographs for kids.
Yep, I've been there. I've done that.
I had a Sharpie on me, and there was one little girl that wanted me to sign her arm instead of her shirt.
Been there.
So I kneeled down on top of the vehicle. I was like, baby, where's your mom at? So she pointed her mom out. I told her, I was like, ma'am, all I have is a Sharpie in my hand. If I sign her arm, it's not coming off.
Right?
Go for it. I'll get it off. Okay. So I hate saying it, but there's probably some little girl, teenage girl walking around now with a Lance Corporal Joe Compton autograph on her arm.
Yep,
Poor girls.
I had come home, just to add on to that, happened to me. I came home from the training that we had for the deployment, and I came home and I showed up in my uniform, and my old high school was playing a game against our arch rivals, and I showed up there and just see people that I haven't seen in a while. And the next thing I know, I got these kids coming up to me and wanting me to sign their shirt. And I'm like, why do you want me to sign your shirt? And they looked at me like, you, to me, are a celebrity, which, like you don't even know me. I'm not a celebrity. Soldiers, believe it or not, I'm going to say this, soldiers are very influential, and this is why you have to shave and look professional, is you have kids looking up to you, whether you like it or not. I don't want kids looking up to me because, man, some of the shit that you see me do when I wear this uniform, you don't want to be like. Just saying. But it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's
humbling is what it is.
Humbling. Thank you. It's humbling to have kids look up to you that don't even know who you are. That look up to you and just like, oh my God, guy's a soldier. And I mean, I had like a line of kids and wanted me to sign their shirts and shit. I'm like, so I did it, and they went and told their parents, and parents were like, why did you, and it's like, whatever. So it was pretty cool.
It's humbling, but at the same time, holy hell, that will give you one hell of an ego.
Yeah.
It didn't to me, but I'm.
Because you will feel like a fucking rock star if you're signing a couple autographs.
Yeah.
You're like, at first, it's like, why me? I'm just doing what I signed up to do.
Right?
But you're signing a couple autographs. You're like, God, this actually does feel kind of awesome.
Right.
That rock star mentality comes in.
Right.
Only way I can describe it.
Right. Anything else?
I've got one more quick one with the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Industries, which is up around Los Angeles, showing off the light armored vehicles again at a golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Golf tournament's over. We're meeting the players. And this is at a deluxe 5-star hotel. We was able to stay the night there, rooms on the house and everything. We're meeting the players down in the lobby. I shook a couple of their hands. I got a fresh $100 bill right in my hand just from shaking their hand. One of my corporals, at this time, I'd already been demoted, did my punishment. It's all water under the bridge at this point in that aspect.
Right.
I'm following one of my corporals around. He keeps getting them left and right. So I'm like, I'll keep shaking the guy's hands he's shaking. I'll walk out of here with a stack.
Mm-hmm.
I walked out of that place with $400 in my pocket.
Nice.
That was a hell of a bar tab that night.
I'm sure it was. So yeah. Did any of you go on any tours while in the Army? Yes, Cody. I went to Haiti. I served a year as a rear detachment commander on a deployment at the unit where I was on active duty for one whole year. It was free money. I kept doing the job that I was doing on the civilian side, but I was actually making more than I did on the civilian side as an E5. Other than that, that's not true. I actually did do another deployment, and that was when the Iraq War first started, 2003. We actually were in a bar in Oswego, New York, watching the United States bomb the shit out of Iraq, Baghdad, before we went. And we were in Oswego, New York. We didn't go. We ended up going to Fort Hood, Texas for a year. Not fun. I hated Texas. I don't ever want to go back to Texas. Texas can suck on my left testicle. Their politics I agree with, but I'm not going to go into it. However, the state itself can eat my fucking ass.
Oh, God, it's hot as hell down there.
No, it's not even that. It's not that great. It's not that great.
That's where I did my pre-mobilization for my deployment, was at Fort Bliss.
Fort Bliss? Yeah.
Then when I came home with the pandemic and everything, we had to quarantine for 2 weeks. That was at McGregor.
Oh, where's that?
Right a couple hours away in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. So just quick to reiterate, what post, you said you were in San Diego, right? Fort Lee, right?
Fort Lee's
Fort
where
Bliss.
I did school. Fort Leonard Woods where I did my motor transport course that I failed.
Okay.
And Fort Jackson's where I went to postal clerk.
Okay. Okay. I actually did my basic training, initial training at Fort Jackson. Then I went to Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland. Then I went to Fort Knox. Then I went to Fort Campbell. That was where I did my active duty, home of air assault. I actually did air assault, and I think I've told that story about my air assault, but y'all couldn't hear me, so you're going to hear it again. So I went to air assault school, and I got to the last day. Okay? And I'm already afraid of heights, all right? Now I really fucking hate heights, and you're going to find out why. So today, that day, the day 10 or day 9 is rappel day, where you rappel out of the helicopter. You do all the fucking
maneuvers.
No, you just rappel and that's it. You have to do, come off the rope and all that shit. And they said, whatever you do, don't grab the rope. If the guy that's coming off just leaves you hanging. So I rappelled, get up 100 feet off the ground to out of the UH-64 to rappel, and they tell you to come out, do the the rope, and you're sitting there, put yourself out on an L, but don't go into a full L, because the next thing, because there's downwash on a rotor on a helicopter, it starts pushing you down pretty much. And I don't know if the instructor didn't like me or what, but he ended up just making me sit there and wait, or I was doing something wrong. I ain't figured out what I didn't know what the hell I did. But he's like, I ended up upside down looking at the fucking ground. I got myself correct. Then he finally let me go. I'm shitting my fucking pants at this time. And with the rotors pushing down on you, you can't stop. You can slow down, but you can't stop. But you're sitting there like, oh my God, I can't stop. And you're like, I'm already fucking in shambles, right? So I get to the bottom and I pull off, and and now you have to become the belay man. The next guy comes down, the motherfucker takes off on me. I let go of the rope. He just gone. And the next thing I know, what happens is, yes, there's downwash, but if that rope is let go, it takes off and it starts going up. So I'm looking at this rope just like, oh shit. So I grab the rope. 5 feet off the fucking ground my feet were. I was airborne. holding on to the damn rope. And then finally the fucking instructor grabbed the rope, and then I was able to come down. I got kicked out of the air assault school. I couldn't, thank God, because the 12-mile ruck march sucks. You have to do it in 3 hours, so you have to run the whole way. No. I can't fucking do that. My knees could not fucking take it. I hid my knee injuries pretty well when I was in the military. So, that being said, that's my story about air assault school. It sucked. It sucked.
That is why I will never go air assault.
Nope. And that's why I'm afraid of height. I can't, to this day, even stand on a stepladder.
Oh, I hate going on the roof of the house.
No, I hear you. So, Joe, thank you. And this is from one veteran to another. And just so everybody understands, Joe's still in. Once you serve, you're a veteran. Don't forget that. And that's one thing that I do want to reiterate is don't forget that if you even serve one day and are out the next, you're still a veteran. You're a veteran. You serve one day, you're a veteran. So, Joe, I want to thank you for your service, your continued service, and let me know when your retirement party is. I might come out and might have a few with you.
All right, will do, Bubba.
So I want to thank Joe for being with me. I'm going to try to do this, like I said, I'm going to try to do this again. It'll probably be after the football season and with everything going on in my life right now. Joe, is there anything else you want to add?
This, not about the service, but I will be on another podcast this Wednesday.
Okay, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Right, it'll be on the Second String Media channel.
Okay.
Mind Snacks, local podcast based here in my hometown. And we're going to be trying different foods, pretty much just drinking, shooting the shit.
Is there a website for it?
Website? No. No, they are on Twitch and YouTube under Second String Media.
Do you want to look that up, Heather, and see if you can find it? So I'm going to let Heather look that up, and she's going to put it in a link in the chat. So go ahead, check that out if you wish. I'm going to wait until she gets to whatever she's doing. She said that it's in YouTube, right? Mind Snacks Media. Is that right?
Second String Media.
Second Stream Media. Is that second as in the number 2 ND, or is it?
No, it's wrote out.
Second.
SEC.
Okay. So, yeah, this has been fun. This probably went better than the previous show, but that was a trial run, and I feel bad for my dad. But he's going to have an entire goddamn series on his ass, so he can just relax his shit, even though he doesn't have much time to relax. But we're going to be up there tomorrow night. We're going to record another, hopefully one of the final episodes of his life. if you haven't checked out my dad talking about his time in service, go check that out. It's on this channel, and it's the first veteran to veteran that we did. I'm sorry that I can't speak very well because I had too many sweet tarts. I apologize. Also, my computer's microphone didn't pick me up. It is what it is. So.
I will also be on the Roses channel Wednesday night.
Okay.
We're doing a review of one of the things that you guys did on Horny Goat, which is Erica.
Oh, the game? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you haven't checked out the Rose Gaming, go ahead and check that out. He's a friend of ours. He's a friend of the show. He wants to do a Mortal Kombat. Our champion Connor, Fabe, and him are going to have a head-to-head. We will be streaming that live here. It'll be a good time. We might actually make a show out of it just for shits and giggles. No, we're doing it over on the Horny Goat. Horny Goat. Not on my channel, on the Horny Goat. So we'll be doing that over on the Horny Goat. Are you guys going live tonight?
Connor's going to be doing NAW tonight.
So, is that on his channel?
I think he's doing it on the Horny Goat, actually.
So, on the Horny Goat tonight, if it's not on the Horny Goat, it's going to be on Fabe's channel. Go check that out. He's going to be doing, what is it?
NAW, New Alternative Wrestling.
Oh, I know what it is. What's the pay-per-view? It's NAW. It's a New Alternative Wrestling that him and Heather actually do it. Heather will be doing the commentary along with him. I might even join if it's okay with Connor. Also, right now going on over on the Derailed is Drew, the Trial of Casey. If you want to check that out, go check that out. That's funny to me, but poor guy. It is what it is. Go check that out. The link for that YouTube channel for what Joe is going to be doing on Wednesday is in the chat. Go ahead, go check that out. We will talk to you tomorrow night on this channel when we do Kicking It Onside, where we will be reviewing this weekend's games. Plus, we'll probably be talking a little bit about the game that's going on as it's happening, and that is the Cardinals at the Rams. So with that being said, Joe, is there anything that you do when you get ready to leave for the day on the military?
Oh, make sure I stop by the gas station, grab me a Monster, because I know.
You know what? Safety briefing. If you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. And if you drink, be careful. Don't spill your drink while driving. So,
right before you tap it.
It's going to be on the Horny Goat. Tim just put it in the chat. So, Connor's show on NAW, where Heather and them will be live, and Connor will be live doing commentary, will be on the Horny Goat. So please go check that out. It'll be a good time. But before then, please go check out Drew and see how that trial is going. It's Ghislaine Maxwell fucking worthy. Just kidding. So, Joe, I want to thank you again. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your continued service. I appreciate it from one veteran to another. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Be well. And fuck COVID.
Exactly.